Today, what we're doing is document generation in a Canvas app using the DocumentsCorePack connector. Again, as I said before, that we're kind of building off what we did in the last webinar. So if things are kind of unclear to you, if you haven't seen the DocumentsCorePack connector, we kind of go into depth in the last webinar on that. So I am going to kind of go over it a little bit here now. So what we do here is we have here on this one side, we have our PowerApps and our flow. And then what we have is our custom connector, the DocumentsCorePack custom connector. And what the DocumentsCorePack custom connector does is it allows you to perform actions in your PowerApps or your flow that communicate with the document generation service via an API. It basically takes that information and allows you to create documents from information from Dynamics, generate those documents, and then, you know, the best part about it, because you're using PowerApps or flow, you can, or I'm sorry, it's probably called so flow. I keep calling it flow because that's what I got used to saying it. But anyway, it allows you to do other things with it, right? So you can actually, like, you can generate a document and send it via Outlook, or you can do other things. You can shoot it up to a Dropbox. You can do a lot of stuff with it, right? One thing that I want to quickly go over is some of the things that you can do with the custom connector here, some of the connector actions that are available to you. The main one, of course, is being able to create document, right? Create a document. Other things you can do is you can get all your templates, right? So you can get all those, and you can save it to SharePoint, you can print, you can attach and send a CDS email, or attach it to a note, or send it to create a document via Outlook, you know, kind of whatever you want. So there's a whole lot of things that you can do with this. And we're really excited about it. Really kind of taking this kind of, I believe, to the next level. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do here. And this is the main point here, because basically what we're doing here is we're doing a Canvas app. If you're not familiar with what a Canvas app is, it's just basically an easy way to create an app using PowerApps, right? It's just kind of a drag and drop. I'm telling you right now, I do not do any kind of development whatsoever, and I was totally able to, you know, kind of do this. So it's really simple and straightforward. If there's people out there that have worked with this before, I did see a few of you have. You know how simple this is. If you've never done it before and kind of been scared to jump into it, now is definitely the time to do it, right? I mean, we all have plenty of time on our hands and trying to figure out what we can do. So this is a good time for it. So I'm going to basically show you here how to take these things and put this into a Canvas app. So one of the main things, and the reason that we're kind of going over this right now, is because this portion right here is actually the hardest part of, you know, putting together this Power App, right? And this is our create document portion. So basically what we're going to be doing in here is we're going to be using the custom connector to give some input parameters, and that's going to be like the template that we're going to define, the record that we're going to load the data from, and give it the file type, whether we want to do like, you know, those are the main three things that we're going to input. And then we have several different output parameters, things that do get returned to us. Like some of our output parameters are like the document body, file name. And then the major thing is like return values, such as links to SharePoint. And another thing that we didn't mention here is it gives you like error messages as well, like whether this failed or succeeded, right? So very kind of important to know. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I'll go over it again as we kind of get into it. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a quick step-by-step. We're basically going to be calling DocumentsCorePack actions in not a flow, but a Canvas app, okay? Basically, we're going to be getting all the templates. We're going to be able to select a template. We're going to be able to click a button and generate a document, and then open that document up straight from the app. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, and it's really simple. Last but not least, we're going to show you kind of like, just to give you kind of some ideas and everything like that, just to show you kind of what you can do with it. You know, we don't want to show everything all at once. You know, we just kind of want to get you started, and then you can kind of take it from there. And we'll show you what we've kind of done with the Canvas app there. So I'm going to switch on over here to my my Power App window here. So easiest way to get started here, you go to your apps. You want to create a new app, and then you want to create a Canvas app. I'll try to go slow if anybody's kind of trying to follow along and do this with me. Okay. So here we're just going to take the common data service. We're going to use the phone layout. Here's where you basically select your layout. So common data service phone layout. All right. And then we're going to choose a table, right? So because basically we want a few things predefined for us. So I'm going to choose accounts. I'll connect it. And then it just goes ahead and gets things ready. It takes me here into my Power App interface. This is where I'm going to basically do everything here. And I'll give it just a small, brief overview of what this is. So I have here my app. I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. You can see I've already got basically a browsing screen here where I can actually let me see. I can browse all my accounts that I have. I can actually go in, and with the control shift, I can actually move around in my app. This is really, really nice because you can actually kind of do things in your app and then kind of test it just to make sure that it's working correctly without ever having to run anything. It's just all is kind of self-contained. So I can actually, I can go in here and take a look here. This is the information that I have in there. Great. So I click on the little things. It tells me exactly, it gives me like the little properties of each individual thing. Over here, this is an important part, this little tree view. This tells me all the little widgets and little pieces that I have in my app. This is kind of very important. You kind of want to keep this all nice and organized. You want to label everything up really nice. Browse gallery 1, it's decent, but it's nice to give things like a nice little label. So most important thing here, so I have all this in here. So here, what I need to do in order to work with the DocumentsCorePack pieces, I need to add the connector to my app here. So what I do here, excuse me, my throat's a little dry, is I go over here to my data sources, and I'm going to choose a connector to add, and I'm going to choose the DocumentsCorePack connector. Now, if you don't have this connected already, you don't have it set up, we do have a way for you to set this up. That information you can find on our blog. Just go in and type on our blog DocumentsCorePack connector, and you'll find how to set this thing up. So I'm going to grab my DocumentsCorePack connector, have it loaded. That's pretty much all I need to do. So I'm using the Common Data Service current environment and the DocumentsCorePack connector. So I'm going to switch back over here to my tree view. And let's say that when I browse through this, what I want to do here on this screen, I want to have the ability to generate a document, right? So I'm going to, let me just get this a little down here. I'm going to shape everything up here a little bit so I got a little bit of room. And the first thing I want to do is have the user to be able to select a template. So easy way to select a template is naturally a drop-down. We're just going to show all my templates. So I'm going to go over here to the insert, and then I'm going to use an input here. And then I'm just going to use a drop-down. Now, the beauty about this is that I don't have to code anything. I just drop it right in, put it right in there. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to define here what's going to be shown in this drop-down. Right now, it's showing absolutely nothing. So just come up here. This is where I my actions or my little code snippets here that make it do things. So what I need to do is to call the DocumentsCorePack API. DocumentsCorePack API, right? And here, what I want to do is I want to get all templates. So I just start with get all templates, right? And then here, the other nice part is, especially for people like me, it actually defines exactly what you need to put in there, right? So you can just kind of follow along with it and do exactly what it says. So here, I'm going to choose I'm going to get all templates from the account entity. So I'm going to choose the entity name, say account, right? And then close everything up. That's all I need to do. DocumentsCorePack, the DocumentsCorePack API does the rest for me, pulls all my templates back. As you can see here, I have all my templates. Of course, this actually makes no sense whatsoever because, right, all my templates are labeled account. How do I change that? So right over here, I have the value that I'm actually showing in this dropdown, and I have 3 types that are returned to me here. I have the entity type, the template ID, which is the GUID of the actual template record, and the name. So the name's going to make a lot more sense. So I'll just go ahead and select that. So you can see it changes it right up, and I see all my templates, and they are all selectable. I can select it. List of contacts, count QR, you know, just select it right from there. So easy and simple enough. So I've got that piece. Now I need a button that's going to allow me to say like, okay, I've picked my template. Now generate these documents. So let me grab a button here. I'm going to go ahead and scoot this on down. Put it right in there. You know, just double click to edit it. So I'm just going to call this generate. Easy enough. Got a button. Now I need to define exactly what this button does. And this is what we went over in on the slides, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. One of the easiest things about this is the fact that, you know, you kind of just have to type a little and then it tells you, you know, you have some choices. You just kind of need to play with it a little bit to get the feel for it, but it's always like, so DocumentsCorePack API, right? That's what I want to do. And here, when I click it, I want it to create a document job. So I just type in create. I use create document job. It tells me exactly what I need. Okay. So, but what I want to tell it is I want it to use this selected template, the template that I've selected here from the dropdown. So over here, I said, you know, this is important. My dropdown is called dropdown 1. So again, labeling, but for time's sake, I've got this. It's pretty simple. So all I need to do is say, for the template ID, I need to get it from dropdown 1. Oh, not drip, but drop down 1, right? And then add that, and then I'm going to say the selected, and then add the DCP template ID. Okay, it's really important that you use the template ID and not the name. So you want the template ID because that's what we need in order to generate this document. Okay. So there we go. So now I've said, hey, whatever I've chosen in here, that's the template that I want to use, and that's what it's going to use to create this document job. Now I need to define the record or the entity that I'm using. So I always want it to be the actual record that I'm on here on the screen. You know, as you saw before, when I had that list, I could choose any one of these and get to this screen. But I want to create it specifically for this one. So how do I do that here? So I have my browse screen and my browse screen gallery. So I just need to do here, let's see, browse gallery 1, right? And then again, the selected. And then I just need the account. That's all I need to do. Okay, that's said and done. Next, I need to tell it the file type, right? So if you're following along, if you can see up here, right, it tells you where you are, right? So it's really, it makes it really simple. It's like built-in documentation, right? You just follow along and put in what you need to put in, and you're good to go. Here, I'm going to put in, you know, it starts off with a quote, PDF, end quote, right? So again, here I can define anything. This you have to remember. It's either, you know, PDF, docx, HTML, you know, whatever. That's going to go right in there. So I've defined that, and then I want to do any of my other parameters here, my special. So I want to actually save this document to SharePoint, right? That's what I want to do. I want to generate it and save it somewhere. So I could save it as to the note of the record, or here I'm just basically, I want to save to SharePoint, right? So here I save this to SharePoint, and I spell true right, and then close everything up. Most important, right? Close everything up. So that's it. So now if I click this button, it's going to take this template. It's going to take the data from this account from Northwind Traders, and it's going to generate a document. Okay. Now that's cool, but you know, I want some feedback here in my app, right? So what I want to do is I want to have it generate, and I want to have it show the name of the document that was generated. And then I want to be able to click it and open it up, right, from SharePoint, right straight from the app. So one thing that I have to do before I kind of move on and do that is I have to set a variable, right? So I want to take all this information, so all this stuff, and get the return values from it so that I can use it later on in my app, right? So it's really easily done. I put a space in there for safety reasons, because I've done this before and it's basically eaten this part and I've had to redo the whole thing. So if you're editing it, just a quick tip, and this works for me, I just put a space in here. So here we're going to set a variable, and it's done with the set command. So set, and then I give it a variable name. So I'm going to call it generate document. All right. So generate document. Great. So I'll just put that in there, back that then up. So great. So I have to come back here again. Most important, this is something that if you're not a developer, right, this is something you need to remember. Always close everything, right? And it tells you, it gives you a nice little prompt here, shows you that, you know, hey, this is actually closed. Okay, so we can actually open this up and let's format it so it makes a little bit more sense as I go through it. And as you can see here, I'm setting a variable name, generate document. Generate document has the value of the return values of this information from this create document job. All right. So it's going to return to me like the file name, etc. This also here, this actually here also creates my document here with the selected document from the dropdown, selected template from the dropdown, and the data from this particular record, this one that I'm on, this record that I'm on, that I'm viewing. Okay. It's going to create as a PDF and save it to SharePoint. Easy enough. It's really simple. And again, like I said, this is the hardest part. That's the hardest part. So here what I want to do is I want to do like a nice little text field. So I'm just going to do a label and grab it and put it down to here, right? Okay. So here for this text, I want it to be the generated document's name. So good thing I defined that variable because I can say generated document and I have it now. And I have everything that goes along with it, right? So a generated document, file name. Cool. So when I generate the document, file name is going to appear right here. Okay. So next thing I want to do is like an on select, right? So like if I click it, that's on select. So on select. Okay. I want it to download. Right. And just that little command, I need to give it a URL here so I can say generated document. Now this is where it gets a little bit so one of the things that returns to us is we have return value and return value 2. The difference between the two is return value is going to return the service that created your document from the document job, or any error message that you may get. Okay, it'll be here in this return value field. Return value 2 is always going to be your SharePoint URL, the SharePoint URL where the created document was stored as SharePoint. So all I need to do is say download generated document return value 2, close it up, and that's it. I'm done. Okay, so I can actually like test this now. I can say like generate. Okay, and it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but if you look up here, you can see the little guys marching across the screen here. That lets you know that something's going on. So there we go. So I got a generated document, not a pretty document name, but it's still a document. And if I click on it, it opens it up straight from SharePoint, and I have all my information in there. Okay. Easy enough. Again, there's little things that you can do here. You know, you click on this. Let's say I don't like the size of that. I'd say I want to edit it down. Let's say that I want to make it look actually like a link here. Let's put the color to that so it's easily seen, right? I can underline it. I can do all kinds of formatting here. Whatever I want to, right? So yeah, so that definitely I think is enough to get you started, right? Just that whole little process on using the connector itself and using it in your Power App. But let me show you a little bit about like what you can do. You know, you can do a little bit more with it, which is really nice. So I'm going to flip over here to Dynamics. And what we've done here on, say, for example, quotes, I know if you're a DocumentsCorePack user, you know, you would go into your quote here. You would select create document, you know, choose all your parameters, etc. Do all that through our DocumentsCorePack dialog. But what we've done here is we've embedded a Power App into Dynamics. It's going to allow us to do kind of the same thing. Pretty intuitive, right? So it's the same basic principles that we did before. Here we have just a nice little drop down where we're picking our template, right? And then here we have radial buttons where we're picking, you know, we can do a PDF or a docx. You can choose which one you want. You can save to SharePoint. You can attach as a note, and then you can hit generate and do it. This is all within Dynamics, right? You don't have, of course, you can do this on your phone or your tablet or whatever. So let's just, the document generation started. I have a nice little download link here just from the picture. Oh, and then I can also download just by clicking on here and grab it. So yeah, you can definitely, you can take things a step further, right? Just with a couple easy parameters. And I encourage you really to just, especially like right now, where if you're looking for something to do, if you're looking for something to learn, this is it, right? This is really kind of where it's all heading. So I would encourage you to take a little bit of time and play with this, and it'll be really beneficial for you, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna flip back over here to here, and we know what's happening. Thank you, and stay healthy, and wash your hands, and practice social distancing. And we really appreciate you guys coming out for this. We really do.